ready, Steve? Andy? Yeah! Bert? Well, all right, fellas. Let's go!
You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN Emini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things Emini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro. Joining us today, Mr. Michael Borth. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Wednesday, 11th day of August, 2021. Thanks so much for joining us. Whoever you are, wherever you are, we're just glad to have you right here, right now. If you can't see the screen I have up, go to our homepage at cfrn.net. On the right-hand side of the page, click the big microphone. Follow the instructions. You'll be registered in about 30 seconds, and that will give you one-click access to the show each and every day. It also gives you access to the chat box so that you can ask questions and participate in the discussion. On the days you're out of the office away from your desktop, just point any internet-connected browser to cfrn.net/live. There you'll find a live, real-time simulcast of the show as it unfolds. You just won't have access to the chat box. We also stream live each day on our YouTube channel. It's easy to remember, youtube.com, you already got that part, /CFRN. youtube.com/CFRN. Not only do we stream live each day during the show on YouTube, but we also archive each and every daily show. Now, you've heard me say many times that we have over 1,700 daily live shows archived for your viewing and educational pleasure. But I checked yesterday, and going forward, you'll hear me say we now have over 1,800 daily shows archived for your viewing and educational pleasure. So with that, let's open with a word of prayer. Heavenly Father, we offer salutations and respect to all present today for this broadcast and those who will hear it later or in the future, to anyone who is affected by it. We brush off the chairs on which we sit to make a clear space for a meeting of minds. We brush off from our clothing any debris picked up on the way to clear our minds of extraneous matters. We wipe the blood from our hands to acknowledge and apologize for any hurt we have inflicted. We wipe the tears from our eyes to acknowledge and forgive any hurt we have received. We take the lump out of our throats to let go of any sadness or disappointment. We take the tightness out of our chest to let go of any fear or resentment. We acknowledge you. We pray to you for guidance. You are the great creator of all life. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. Well, happy Wednesday. Hope it's a happy Wednesday for you, wherever you may be. Got some special guests coming up, or a special guest coming up for a couple shows here in the coming week or so. You may have heard Dr. Tom and I talk about it briefly last Thursday, but I'll bring you up to speed a little later in the broadcast today. Let me give you the numbers from around the world. These are the cash markets, the indices, as they're called. Dow currently up 177 points. NASDAQ down again today, 57 points. S&P 500 up 4.5, and the Russell 2000 down 16. Yes, the indices are divided again. We've had this issue for a while, and then we had a couple weeks where everybody seemed to get on the same side of the street. Now, and I cautioned everyone Sunday night and Monday morning that this was going to be a basically congested, sideways, narrow range week, just based on the information from the weekly trading zones. And it's turning out to be true. Guys, let me know if you can hear me. I have someone in the audience who says they cannot hear. So somebody else give me an X in the chat box if you can hear. Okay, Valerie just said lost audio as well. Well, let's see if we can figure out how to fix that. I'm at a loss. Test 1, 2, 3. Dell says he can hear me on YouTube. So the problem is with DT Pro. Or not DT Pro, but with GoToWebinar. Okay. Can you guys hear me now on... Everybody can hear me now. Can you hear me now? Okay. All right. We're all good. Okay, sorry for the glitch. It's probably the guy out there mowing the lawn. I'll blame it on him. Okay. Not sure where I lost you, but I'll just go back to the Dow's up 177, NASDAQ down 57, S&P 500 up 4.5, the Russell 2000 down 16. We went through a period Okay, here's the big question. Can you hear me now? I logged out and logged back in.
Well, I can hear you in the webinar, so let's wait for something from YouTube.
Okay. Okay. So all peoples, that was a joke.
It was.
All peoples can hear me everywhere. Okay. And welcome to you, Miss Corinthia, if I pronounce that correct. Okie doke. All right, we're going to try this one more time. The Dow is up 175 points. NASDAQ is down 60. S&P 500 up 4. And the Russell 2000 down 17. Now, we like to see all four of the major indices on the same side of the street. They don't move in lockstep, but we like to see all four rising, all four falling. Now, we went through an extended period of time where the ranks were divided like they are today, and then we had a couple weeks where everybody seemed to get back on the same side of the street for the most part. However, now we're equally divided with 2 in the green, 2 in the red. And early in the week, Sunday night or Monday morning it was, I discussed on the show and in the discussion group that based on how the weekly zones came out this week, we should look for some sideways consolidated trade. Could be active trade, but it would be inside of narrow ranges. And so, well, there's nothing we can do really but wait for the market to sort itself out. And I'll tell you what, it's these types of markets. Traders are learning how to trade, they start to do good, they start to build their account size, and then suddenly everything they've been doing is not bearing good fruit. And they never stop to think that it might be the condition of the market. They start changing their swing, buying a new indicator, buying some new oscillator, signing up with some new guru, getting more crystal balls. None of that's going to fix it. Nothing you can do or I will fix the condition of the market. And the condition of the market right now is not that great for trading. So traders who are consistently profitable over the long haul recognize that there are times like this, and they have the self-discipline to just put the mouse down or just switch into sim trade, or to just reduce the trade size, down to 1 or 2 contracts, so that if you have a rough day, it doesn't blow out your account. In the commodity basket, crude oil up 65 or down 65 cents, trading 67.64 last. It's basically 1%. Gold having a good day, up $21.50, trading 17.5320 last. Silver up 12 cents, trading 23.51 last. And the Asian markets at the close. Nikkei posted a gain of 182 points. Shanghai rose 2.5 points. The Hang Seng gained 54 points. And in the European markets at the close, the FTSE up 59, the DAX up 55, the CAC up 37. It's pretty small, pretty quiet numbers around the globe. It is, however, it was a green day in Asia. It was a green day in the UK. But currently, it's a mixed Radio Wednesday here in the US of A. So with that, if Michael's ready, we'll go to him, get a recap of everything that happened in the live training room. I'll come back and we'll look at the logic alerts, the concierge alerts, and we'll talk about the guest that we'll have on the show. It could be as early as tomorrow, but I think we'll plan for it and do it next week. Dr. Tom and I, last Thursday, were talking about the whole 9/11 inside job, and I told him I had a friend who had written a book about why 9/11 was an inside job. I've shared a lot of his writings with you guys in the discussion group over the last few years. His name is Jeff Prager, an old friend. Back when I was like 21, he was my boss. So anyway, he had called me late last night, almost midnight, because he's been doing some research, and he's very much against the vaccination, and he's got lots of documented reasons why. And he just wanted to caution me that because he knows my family, my wife, he said, if you haven't taken the vaccine yet, Dwayne, please don't. And I said, well, I'm on that side of the street. So we're going to have Jeff on for a couple shows probably next week. One is where we'll talk about, what's behind this vaccine, the evil minds, all the patents, the reasons. And then we'll do a separate show where Jeff and Dr. Tom debate each other about 9/11 and whether or not it was an inside job. So we may do those as standalone broadcasts, or we may combine them with the show. But either way, it's going to make for some very interesting radio. So Michael, I can see your charts.
All right.
If you are ready,
I am.
you can take it away.
All right. Here we go then. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Wednesday, the 11th day of August, 2021. All right. Now, if you've not taken a free trial with us and you want to take a free trial with us, go to the homepage here at cfrn.net. On the homepage, just scroll down right here where it says free 5-day trial, no credit card required. Click on that. It's going to bring you to this page, eminitrainingschool.com. On this page, all that we ask for is your name, your email, and your phone number. You can tell us the biggest trading challenge so we can tell you tailor one-on-one training just for you. Hit the send button, you'll be sent the confirmation link. You must click on the confirmation link. Okay, if you don't click that link, we don't know that you took the free trial. All right. Now, the spreadsheet. If you're going to read the spreadsheet, you got to read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. Today, as I said, is the 11th day of August, 2021. Today we made 35 ticks in crude and 25 ticks in gold. And we didn't trade, well, we did trade the ES 3 times, I think. No, 2 times. We were break even on both of them, 2 or 3, something like that. But we were break even on the ES anyway. Today it took 9 minutes and 2 trades to get to the goal for the day. That part up $100 a contract, and we took a total of 22 trades this morning. So on the month now, we're at $2,885. That's over 8 trading days, averaging $360 per contract per 2-hour trading day. We've gotten our goal for the day on 152 out of 154 possible days so far this year. And that puts us at $95,077 on the year. That's over 154 trading days, averaging $617 per contract. And that's 1 contract, 2 hours per day. Now, I did extrapolate a whole bunch of information from what we've been doing for over the years. We're up here in this part where I always say it, and Dwayne always has me repeated at the end. Today it took 9 minutes and 2 trades to get to the goal for the day. At that point, we're up $100 a contract. And I say every day, yesterday was 19 minutes and 5 trades to get to $130 a contract. Well, I extrapolated all that information. And, I say that every single day, and I've been saying it every single day for over 10 years. Whatever the numbers are, whether they're good or bad or whatever they are, I say them. And I extrapolated all that information down here. So you could see if we stopped trading when we got the goal for the day with 1 contract, how much money we would have had. And then if you had 1 contract per month, what you would have had if you stopped when you got the goal for the day and added 1 contract per month. And the number of minutes that it took and the number of trades that it took to do all of that. And so down here we're now at 45 hours and 6 minutes, or 45.06 hours. So 45 hours and I guess it'd be 10 minutes. And what that averages out to per hour with the amount of money that it would have been adding 1 contract per month, stopping when you get your goal for the day per hour is $1,726 per hour. So just numbers, but ideally, that's what we want everybody to do and be at. Not that you're going to make $1,726 an hour every single day, but that it evolves to the equivalent of that over time. If you were to work an hour and do everything the same way, and the markets were to agree with you all the time, if you were to do the whole 2 hours and do everything the way that I did with 1 contract, you'd be here. And if you added 1 contract per month and did everything exactly like I did, you'd be there. But if you didn't have to do the whole 2 hours and have all the trades, because that's a lot more trades than we're doing over here, it's a full 2 hours. Where this time, oftentimes, it's a lot less than 2 hours. It's a significant difference. And ideally, this is where we want you to be. Just trade until you get your goal for the day, then put the mouse away and ramp up the contracts. And this is what it looks like if you do. Okay? All right. Now, let's get into the actual trades. I'll start out with the ES because that's where we had the fewest number of trades as usual. Here we go. Did just have a couple of trades today. I actually started early, but the audio didn't work to the people in the audience. It worked to anybody who was an organizer, but nobody in the audience today when I started out, but we fixed that in the first 5 or 10 minutes, so that was good. Our first trade was right here, was a break even. Our next trade was right here, was also a break even. Now, there were some questions about whether there was a trade. Where was it? Right here, this one. The reason this wasn't a trade was because we didn't have a trend. Okay, if you did take it, it would have worked out for a couple of ticks, but it didn't have a trend. All right, you shouldn't have ever stopped out on that trade or any trade here today on the ES, because you shouldn't have taken very many trades if you did take any. All right, and that was the ES today. It was just a dog, and it still is. It's like it's waiting for some horrible news, and I don't know why. But we'll go to gold next. Okay, now gold was working pretty well today. It was going pretty much to the numbers that I was giving out. It was doing a pretty good job, and it was fairly easy to trade. All right, our right here is where we got our goal for the day on gold. This was our first trade on gold, and we got 9 ticks on this. We had 1 tick already in crude oil. That gave us the goal for the day right there in gold. I am gonna do a video about the YBR trades. Timothy, we'll get into that. The question was, why do I only do it for 2 hours a day? Is the market the highest the first 2 hours? It's not necessarily. It depends on what's going on during the day, but there's usually more activity in the first 2 hours than the rest of the day. But I do it for the first 2 hours because that gives a lot of people time to schedule their days around being able to be in there for those first 2 hours and be able to learn what we're doing in those first 2 hours. I mean, you don't have to limit it to the first 2 hours. You can trade whenever you want. Now, as long as the markets are open, you can trade, and that's almost 24 hours a day. But anyway, there was a short right here. We picked up 9 ticks on that. We had this huge move down right here, but it didn't give us a trade setup until right down here. It gave a trade setup right here that I missed. And then it went sideways for a little while. I missed a trade there, missed a trade there, had a break-even trade there. I was looking for it to get up to this level right here, which it eventually did, but it chopped around a little bit for us and didn't give us any trade setups anyway. Then we picked up another tick here to put us at plus 10. 8 ticks there to put us at plus 18. Then 4 ticks there to put us at plus 22. Then somewhere in here, yeah, break even, break even, break even. Then we went from plus 22 to plus 30. Okay, right there, 8 more ticks. Then we stopped out, put us back down to 22. And then we had a plus 3 to put us at plus 25 on the morning session. Okay, now, let's see, during the break, there was a long trade right here, bounce off the BBC type, another long here, and another long here. Turned around, started going short, and there was a short trade. The trend line would go short trade right here. Like the trend line would look like this. So the short would have been right there. It still be working out right now, it looks like. There would have been a momentum short right here too. Okay, but that one didn't go anywhere. But that was gold. Now crude oil. Now it screwed the numbers up again today, like it did yesterday. But yesterday I was taking off 10 for every stop out. Or today that was the day before yesterday. Or today I was putting them in the wrong column. But anyway, this was that first trade that I was talking about on crude. We got 1 tick on that one. We missed this one right here. Now this is the highest probability trade setup because we hit the BBC. We had separation down here. The cycle was red, and the MA1 stayed right on the pullback. Highest probability trade setup right there, and I missed it. There was a follow-up trade here that I missed, and a bounce off the BBC here. This was not the highest probability trade setup because the MA1 was the wrong color, but it was still a pretty good trade if you took it. And I was highlighting these areas here as places for it to go. This up here, and then there was a shorting opportunity in here. I was looking at this number. It got down to that. Over here, I was looking for it to get up to here, and then there, and there, and there. I think this was a pullback number. But anyway, we got up to this one, and we took a long in here on crude. Now, so far, we had plus 1 tick. I think we picked up 9 here to get us to plus 10. Then, I think I got this in the wrong order here. Yeah, we got 1. Then I think we picked up 9 there. I'm not exactly sure. We might have picked up 11 on that one, actually, and 9 on the next one. But anyway, one of these was a couple of ticks. This one right here, I think. One of these was 9 and one of them was 11. And so at the end of it all, we were at plus 30. And let's see. Then we picked up 5 more to get us to plus 35. We had a break even. Then another break even. Then we stopped out, put us at plus 27. We missed these nice trades right here. This is not your highest probability trade because it didn't hit the BBC, but this is still a very high probability trade because you have bullish separation, the cycle stayed blue, and the MA1 stayed blue on the pullback. So that spot right there is good. Give you some, pretty good profit opportunity on that. This one right here probably would have been a break even had I taken it. Then we had another break even there. And let's see, we had +7 to get us to 33. We had a +6 there to go to +33. Then a +2 there to get us to +35. And that was it for the morning session. Let's see. There was a momentum short right here. Didn't go anywhere. And yeah, it wasn't really good trading here during the break on the crude oil. It really didn't give that much up. We did have crude inventories come out today. I don't know what they were, but we did have them come out. Let me go and check them really quick, and we'll tell you exactly what they were. The crude inventories came out. They're expecting a draw of 0.8 million barrels, and they only got a draw of 0.4 million barrels. Okay, so they called that bad news today. This afternoon at 1 o'clock, we have a 10-year bond auction, and 2 o'clock, we have federal budget balance coming out. Okay, can't wait to see what kind of garbage is in that. All right, so let's go here, back here. This is what I'm looking for. All right, so if you're going to read the spreadsheet, you got to read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. Today is the 11th day of August 2021. Today we made 35 ticks in crude, 25 ticks in gold. I said that right? 35 in crude, 25 in gold. And we were break even on the ES. Today it took 9 minutes and 2 trades to get to the goal for the day. At that point, we're up $100 a contract, and we took a total of 22 trades. So on the month now, we're up $2,885 a contract. That's over 8 trading days, averaging $360 per contract per 2-hour trading day. On the year, we've gotten our goal on 152 out of 154 possible days, and that puts us at $95,077. That's over 154 trading days, averaging $617 per contract per 2-hour trading day. Okay? Okay. Now, if you've not taken a free trial with us, go here. Go directly to this page if you want, eminitrainingschool.com. On this page, all that we ask for is your name, your email, and your phone number. Tell us your biggest trading challenge so we can tailor one-on-one training just for you. Hit that send button, you'll be sent a confirmation link. You must click on that confirmation link, okay? If you don't click the link, we don't know that you took the free trial, so you gotta make sure you click on that link. All right, guys? All right, that is it. With that, we'll pass it back out to fabulous Phoenix, Arizona, in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Dwayne, if you are ready. There's a delay in Studio A. Okay, well, while we wait for Dwayne, you see that the ES right here is
sorry
going
about
in.
that. I had a call
okay.
come in that I absolutely had to take. So I apologize. Okay. Give me 2 minutes to catch my breath.
Yeah.
And I'll be ready to go.
I was just going to say you need a couple more minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, so the ES is, all right, the ES is going right into the weekly trading zone right here. Ryan's not in here right now, or I would show him what I meant to show him this morning. Okay. Josh and Corinthia, I am going to be sending those links out to you. When Dwayne comes back on, I'll send out the links for those meetings that we have this afternoon. Okay, and Val should have sent you the link to do the download, the one that actually works. The one that I sent you clearly did not work, and I will no longer send that link out. But I think Val sent it out. The one I looked at it on my phone during the break, the one that Val sent out seems to go to the right place. So if you guys, I mean, you don't actually have to download the stuff. Just fill out the form so you get sent the ID and the password. If you download the stuff, that'd be great too, but you don't have to install it. Just do the download. And when we get into the meetings, I'll walk you through the actual installation and set it up for you. So you'll be ready to go, and your desktop will look just like mine in the morning, or when we're done with the meeting. All right. Does anybody have any questions? Anybody? Did Dwayne Did Dwayne not have audio when he first came on? I do not know. I missed the first 5 minutes.
No, he didn't.
Okay, it wasn't the same thing that we had when I came on this morning, though.
What's that?
The audio.
Oh,
I had
yeah.
issue.
My audio just
You
went out on GoTo, but it was still
Yes.
broadcasting on YouTube.
Right. And so Michael had issues with GoTo as well. So
Yeah, whoever opened up the meeting, it seems like is what the thing is. Because I opened up the meeting this morning and I had audio issues only to people that were in the audience, not to organizers.
Interesting.
Sounds like you had a similar issue.
same.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully it's okay now. Maybe it was just a hiccup.
Yeah. Corinthia, we'll get into that in the meeting. Okay. I'll give you all the information you want. All right. All right. So you're all set, Dwayne. You
Take
can
it
grab-
away.
Take it away. Back to Studio A in fabulous Phoenix, Arizona, and South Mountain. Overlooking South Mountain, America's largest theme park.
Okay. Recap of the recap.
Today, it took 9 minutes and 2 trades to get to $100 a contract. Did you see what I did with the spreadsheet?
Good job.
Right.
No, I didn't see.
I put all those things together so you can see all those little recaps that we do every day.
Mm-hmm.
I tabulated all that information for the whole year, so we get a $1 per hour if you were to take those minutes that I give every day and the number of
Right.
trades and
Right.
the amount, put it all together and do $1 per hour, and we're at like $1,726 an hour.
Well, that's.
So-
But do you have to take the shot? Oh, good
No,
news. You
no,
don't have to
I
take
haven't
the
taken the
shot.
shot.
You don't have to take the shot.
So it is not necessary. And I can't see that it would help, but I don't know. I don't know how it would hurt. But then again, I haven't taken the shot, so I don't know.
Well, Amazon has now required their employees to start all wearing masks again in the warehouse, and so I've got a feeling it's not too far off that they're going to demand vaccination, perhaps.
If you're working in the warehouse, probably.
Now, my friend Jeff that I was just speaking to, he said that he can claim for religious reasons he doesn't want to take the shot, and that by law, but they can change the law, but by law they have to accept that without even saying, are you Christian, are you Jewish, what faith do you belong to? They just have to accept it. He goes, but they'll probably then put him in some restricted work environment away from the other employees. I go, and then eventually they'll find some other reason to just get rid of him. And he goes, yeah, it's probably the case. So
Yeah, I don't know. Jada's brother had the shot. He's like the town manager of a town here in North Carolina, and so he had to have the shot because the town required it, and he just spent the weekend in the hospital because of the shot.
well, according to Jeff, and I don't want to, I'm not going to say anything because I know a lot of people in our audience have taken the shot.
Yeah.
So I'll just let him come on. He's very smart, and he'll use technical terms, but he has all the supporting documents and stuff. So whether you've had the shot or haven't had the shot, or maybe you're still trying to make up your mind, please hold off until after we do this special episode next week. So you have all the facts and figures. He's not a crackpot. He's not, he's a very, very smart guy. He works with a lot of scientists and physicists, and so anyway,
Okay.
all right. So on
So you got
Logic, go ahead.
All right, no, that's it. You got it.
Okay, Logic 247. We're in week 158 as of 12:05 p.m. today. Since the markets opened Sunday night at 6 p.m. Eastern, we've issued a total of 34 alerts, 7 never triggered, still waiting on the outcome of 1. So we've had 26 actionable alerts, of which 3 or 12% would have been stopped out based on not risking more than $300 per contract per trade, less when possible, using market structure in a very simple 3-step process that we teach all of our passport holders. Now, those alerts are based on current price action. Our original alert service, the concierge trade alerts, Those are based on historic price action. These are them from last night. Last night I was running a little late. I didn't get them out to 7:20 p.m. last night. 2 numbers for each market. Now this is posted as a static report. So whereas the logic alerts come out as opportunity presents around the clock, this is a static report, and once published, these numbers remain good for the entire session. And when we go to the charts here in a minute, you'll see that on the S&P as an example, I put a line in the sand at 44.32, a line in the sand at 44.21. Once this report is published each evening, if price starts trending up towards 44.32 in this example, that would be bullish. And that's when our strategy will look for opportunities to buy the market. That's when you have an opportunity to use everything that you learn each day in the live training room. How to watch for the setup, how to enter, how to manage, how to exit. If price starts trending down towards 44.21 after this report is published, that's bearish. So our strategy will look for opportunities to sell the market, sell the rallies. And this again is where you'll use everything you've learned in the live training room each day to go in and spot these opportunities. And in the beginning, you trade in your simulator until you've put together 10 consecutive days in a row where you reach your goal in 10 trades or less. Then and only then do you trade in your live account. Our 24/20 blueprint will start you out with one contract. You'll stick with one contract until you increase your account balance by $2,000. Once you do that, the blueprint will give you the green light to add a second contract. The big difference between the first contract and the second contract is you're adding the second contract with profit you earned in the market. You'll trade 2 contracts for a while. The blueprint will let you know when it's time to add number 3, number 4, number 5, number 10. You only add one at a time when it's time, and you only add with profit you earned in the market. That makes it difficult to blow up another account. Doesn't make it impossible, but it's going to take a while, because once you go live, if you have 2 days back to back where you don't reach your goal in 10 trades or less, you come out of the live account back to the sim account, and you book a one-on-one mentoring session with myself, Michael, Valerie, Bert, one of us, all of us. We help you figure out what happened, get you squared away, and when you get your confidence back, then you just go back to the live account and pick up right where you left off. So if you want to grab a screenshot of this, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. So we'll go to daily chart of the S&P. If you leave your charts running around the clock, once a day, twice a day, you should go in and refresh that daily chart, because sometimes the indicators get a little wonky. Now, yesterday we put in a new all-time historic intraday high, but we did not put in a new all-time historic closing high. The closing high was August 6th, and that closing price was 44.30 and a quarter. Now today we have a new all-time historic intraday high, which is 44.43 and a quarter. The previous was 38 and a quarter. Now today it's 43 and a quarter. So even though we have a new intraday high, it's really more important where we close. Do we get a new closing high? If we get a new closing high, then that shows that there's still lots of energy left in this bull market. So we have to take our fibs and adjust them to embrace that new all-time historic high. There we go. Okay. So that puts us at the 38% fib extension. We've known now for days that that would be a potential obstacle when price got there. And we spiked it a little bit. We spiked it by 3 points, but now we've pulled back below it. So it did become the resistance that we anticipated. If buyers prove to be more committed than sellers here, the next resistance that we anticipate would be up here at 44. Well, the first resistance is the high of today. If we get above the high of today, then we're at 44.64/65, and then the 62% extension is up at 44.87/88. A 100% fib extension would be at 45.62/63. That's the resistance overhead. You can think of them as targets, you can think of them as resistance. It works both ways. Price, last night I said we had a little red body, and I put this in the discussion group. That red body had come down to touch the top of this trend line, and I said tomorrow during the show we may look back and say, wow, that was just a trader Vic. And sure enough, here's what we got. That little red body has now become a big green candle. Keep in mind, it was green all the way to the top. Now we've had a pullback from the high at 43.25 to 35, which is basically where we're trading right now. If price continues down, support is at this trend line and the step line, which we're sitting right on top of, and blue and climbing. If we get below that, then support is at yesterday's low, and then the previous day's low, which brings us back down to the top of this trend line and the intersection of this trend line with this trend line. Now, because we just adjusted, looks like I adjusted a little too much. Let me pull that down. Fibs are various, so don't worry about getting it exactly on the money, as they say. But here, let me do this one. There we go. And this one. So why are there two different fibs? Good question. Well, one is based on the last leg up. Now the last leg up is this. Leg, retrace, and we're building a new leg. Pretty soon, once this move finds a top and gives us a nice pullback, then we'll have a new last leg up. For now, we're still working on this as the last leg up. The Fibonacci price extensions, the way you arrive at those numbers is by using the fib extension tool, and you connect this low to this swing high to this retracement low, and that projects these numbers above where the market may find resistance. You can also use them as targets. Now, based on this new all-time historic high, the 24% fib retracement of just the last leg up is right here at 43.91. 43.91/92, which lines right up with the daily BBC. That green line, we call it the BBC. It stands for bull, bear, cross. When price crosses above it, we're bullish. Below it, we're bearish. The other line, the red and blue line, is the CFMA1. I call it blue and climbing. It's bullish, represents support. Red and falling, that's bearish, represents resistance. Okay? So, if we pull back to the BBC, and price always reverts to the mean. So, whether it's, tomorrow, next week, next month, price always reverts to the mean. In our case, the mean is green, and we call it the BBC. So we know at some point price will come back to test the BBC. The first time it does, most times we get a very nice bounce. And if buyers are more committed than sellers, that bounce can then turn into a new all-time historic high. However, if the bounce runs out of steam prior to putting in the new high, then if we trade below the BBC, We've got the 38, the 50, the 62 fib of the last leg up. But then over here, this up move began November 2nd. The low was put in last year, October 30th. The climb out of those lows began November 2nd. And so from that November 2nd, or from that October 30th low to the new all-time historic high, the 24% fib retracement of the entire move of the last 9-10 months is right here. It's basically 41.56.57. So the 24% fib of the last leg up lines up with the BBC, so we definitely expect support there. Then we have other areas, any one of which can act as good support, at least good enough for a bounce. When you hit a fib on a daily chart, because just as we watch range charts and 30-minute charts and 5-minute charts, institutions tend to watch daily charts and weekly charts and monthly charts. But when there's a pullback to a fib on a daily chart, all the big traders see it, the institutions, the hedge funds. And so hitting this 24% fib will most likely give us a very nice bounce. Okay? This combination of the 24% fib and the BBC, that's support times 2. If we get below the BBC, then just like overhead, these are areas for resistance, these are areas for support. And eventually this entire move, even if it keeps going for another year, at some point we will get a 24% fib retracement and deeper. So right now the bulls are in charge. We're well off the high of the day. Let's go to the 30-minute chart of the S&P. Last night's CTA, Concierge Trade Alert, was 44.32. This vertical line separates today, the Wednesday session, from yesterday, the Tuesday session. This was the open last night. This was the opening candle. Now again, I didn't get the alerts out until 7:20 last night. I normally get them out about 6:15, 6:20. So price came down to the weekly trading zone and consolidated. And then we spiked it. Our short CTA was at 44.21. The swing low was 44.2075. It went one tick over the line. Price behaves at a CTA very much the way it behaves at a weekly trading zone. Only 3 things happen at a zone: consolidation, rejection, or the slice. Here's a beautiful example of the slice. See how this big candle sliced through this weekly zone like it wasn't even there? Then it retraced to the zone it sliced through. Now it's continuing in the direction of the slice. That's the least likely thing. The most likely thing to happen at a zone is consolidation. Like this, like this, like this. That's what you'll see 70-75% of the time. Rejection, which is the only other thing that can happen, is when price touches a zone, and when the 30-minute candle closes, the only thing left touching the zone is the wick. That's about 20-25% of the time. So the market is poised right now for a move higher. We triggered last night at 44.32. We had a target overhead at 34. It was just 2 points, but hey, 2 points is really all you need. But price kept going, and we put in a high at 44.43 1/4. That's the new all-time historic intraday high. And the market is poised right here. It pulled back to the BBC. When price pulls back to the BBC, we expect it to hold because it holds more often than it doesn't. Down here, you can see the pullback held, the pullback held, the pullback held, until it didn't hold right here. We get a leg, we get a retracement, the pullback holds. Now we're building a leg to the upside. Blue and climbing, while when it's like this, with the step line on the left side of blue and climbing, and price to the left of the step line, that's bullish. That's price climbing the back of blue and climbing. But when blue and climbing gets ready to turn, goes flat and starts to turn into red and falling, if price pushes up right now, that will most likely be resistance, at least for a minute, maybe longer. It could send price back down to this zone. So if you get long here at 44.36, be very cautious as you approach 44.38, because that may be resistance. You might be better served to let price get above blue and climbing, and that would give you a window of opportunity up here. Okay, so the market opens, we get a bearish cross, we go to the zone, we consolidate for many hours. We reach down, we touch the short CTA, price gets rejected. It gets rejected here, it gets rejected here, which sends us to a bullish cross, which gives us this nice move from 44.32 to 33. So that's an 11-point move at $50 a point. The market made $550 per contract available. Now we've dipped back below the trigger. We've hit the target a second time, and we're just waiting now to see if the market wants to continue higher. So that's the S&P. Now, let's go to the Dow. The Dow is throwing a party. 35,180 was the long CTA last night. As you can see, the short side never got touched. Here's the open. We pull back to the BBC. The pullback holds more often than it doesn't. We consolidate for a number of hours. Then we get a leg, and we put in a swing high at 191. That's only 11 points at $5 a point. Market made 55 bucks available. And then we pull back to the BBC, which held. The pullback holds more often than it doesn't. And then this candle took us right up to our target at 35,200. And then we kept going. We passed through this zone, and the next zone. We only got one more zone overhead for this week, 35,645. So lots of room to run on the upside. So from 35,180 to the swing high at 388, that's about 200 points. At $5 a point, it's $1,000 per contract traded. Now, you can see price starting to walk sideways. This step line, see how it's on the left side of blue and climbing? Price is to the left of the step line. Right here, price starts to walk sideways. The step line crosses over blue and climbing and to the right side. It's on the left, goes to the right. Once that happens, the first red candle that closes below the step line, that's the official exit signal. Okay? And this candle does not look like it wants to close red. Now, we had a red close here, but the step line had not crossed over yet. So, I mean, you could have still certainly taken your profits here. It's a very nice trade. But if you're waiting for the exit signal, you may not get it just yet. Okay, Russell. Boy, this is about as sideways as I've ever seen the Russell. I mean, here's Monday, flat, trap between these two zones. Tuesday, flat, trap between these zones. And now Wednesday, we ran up to the zone, we ran down to the zone, and now we're pulling up to the BBC. Now the short CTA last night for the Russell, the yellow lines means those are zones from last week. And I'm going to go ahead and pull those off. So everything you see are the current weekly zones, which are given to our members every Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. We've published these zones since December 14th of 2009, and they have served us very well over that period of time. So the only trigger on the Russell for the CTAs, now there were logic alerts, okay, but I'm just going through the CTAs right now. The swing low here was 22.16. That's 4 points at $50 a point, $200 per contract traded. If you've earned the right to trade 2 contracts, then it's $400. If you've earned the right to trade 3 contracts, it's $600. So what's the next high probability move? Well, since the pullback holds more often than it doesn't, we would expect the market to find, or price to find, good resistance right here. And then a move that takes us back to the zone. You don't have a lot of room to work with though, because the zone is 23/24. So just be cautious in that area. Personally, I would rather see price get above or get below. Above 22.49, below 22.20. Although, if this pullback doesn't hold, if buyers are committed and take us up into this area, then there's a valid window of opportunity right here from 22.35 up to 22.40. That's 5 points, $50 a point, $250 per contract traded. The NQ, we'll do all the indices at one time. Okay, so the long CTA, 15.091, and the short, 15.014. So here's the open last night. Price pulls up to the weekly trading zone where it consolidates for hours till it comes in contact with the BBC. When we approach the BBC from below, we expect it to be resistance. The pullback held, and it sent us down to the zone, almost to the tick, which bounced us back up to the BBC. And then buyers, you got blue and climbing in the picture now. So buyers are coming in, they're moving the market higher. They take us all the way up to the long trigger at 91, and the zone is 103/104. Remember, that number was given out Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. So from 91, what do we got? 9 and 3. We got a 12-point move at $20 a point, $240 per contract traded. Price got back below the trigger, did it again, and continued. So we had 2 triggers. Once an alert triggers, there's a greater probability of it triggering multiple times than not triggering multiple times. And so on the short side, we triggered, we finally made it down to the target. Then we went up and triggered on the long side, 2-sided action. Then we got back below the BBC and triggered on the short side again, just one time, which took us right to the target. Had 14,980/81. So that's 19 and 14, 29 points, 39 points. Call it 40, $800 per contract move. Here and again here. That's what the market made available. We're like the guy in the theater back in the old days. If you got to the movie theater late after the movie started, the doors were closed, people are watching the movie, there's a guy with a funny hat and a flashlight. He would go shh, and you would tiptoe in behind him. He would shine his flashlight at the floor, help you find a seat without tripping over other people's feet. That was his job. He was called an usher. Okay, that's basically what we do. Okay, we don't make these moves happen. We don't have that power or ability. But we shine our little light and show you where the windows of opportunity are. And in the process, we teach you how to find the windows of opportunity yourself. Because our goal is to get you to a point where you never again have to be dependent upon anyone or anything to tell you when to get in or when to get out. We want you to become self-sufficient. Now, your Passport membership is lifetime, so we certainly hope you'll hang around and be a part of the family once you learn everything that you can learn from us. We want you to be a part of that vibrant community. Then, to whom much is given, much is required. So once you learn, then you can, be of benefit to the other new folks that come through the door. Hey, in the discussion group where all of our traders chat with each other, in the discussion group, you can welcome a newcomer. Hey man, I was in your shoes 6 months ago. This is the progress I've made so far. This is how I'm doing. That's so encouraging to a new person because, as you know, most of these forums and chat rooms on the internet that have anything to do with trading are quite often very vile places, filled with profanity. Everybody's mad, got a chip on their shoulder. They've been lied to. They're not making any money. I'm very thankful to be able to say that our discussion group is much different. People are kind. People will encourage you. When you have a good day, they'll applaud you. And when you have a tough day, they'll console you and encourage you. It is a fine group of people. So what's the next high probability move here on the NQ? Well, we just had a bearish cross. Price is at the BBC. So the high probability move is another trip back down to the zone. If price can get above the BBC, if buyers are more committed than sellers, then you'll have a nice little window of opportunity right here. Now the NQ pays $20 a point. So 10 points is 200 bucks. On the logic alerts, each alert has an initial target worth $100, except the NQ, the initial target, is worth $200 because the NQ is so volatile. But then on the logics, there's typically a second target, a third target, but the final trade to target on every alert, both logic and concierge, if it's a long alert, the final target is the zone above, and if it's a short alert, the final target is the zone below. Okay, crude oil. The long trigger was 69 bucks, and we're right there. Swing high so far is 69, right on the nose. So the window of opportunity is from the trigger to the target. 30 ticks, $10 a tick, $300 per contract traded. Now in the live training room, Michael teaches you everything on a fast chart. It's a range chart, 4-tick range. For the alerts, I use a 30-minute chart. Once you learn the methodology and the strategy from Michael and Valerie, then if you want to trade the alerts, I will teach you market structure and how to set your stops and all of that in one-on-one mentoring sessions. As a Passport holder, you have unlimited access to one-on-one mentoring. Now you get 2 hours of live training every day in live markets. It's interactive. You've got a live instructor putting on, taking off trades, answering your questions. When you say, what do you call that? And why did you do that? And what's that for? He'll answer you as he trades. Okay? So that's a great environment for learning. And then you have this broadcast in the afternoon where we recap everything that's happened in the last 24 hours. Michael recaps the live training room. I recap the alerts. And then on Thursday nights, we have a members-only workshop. And on top of all that, you have unlimited access to one-on-one mentoring as needed. I mean, you get 10 hours in the room in the morning and almost 10 hours in the afternoon. That's 20 hours, and 2 hours on Thursday night. So you get 22 hours of live interactive instruction a week. But if there's still something you can't quite get your arms around, then you just go to the website or call Valerie and you book a one-on-one mentoring session with myself or Michael or Valerie or Bert or all of us if you need. And we'll work with you one-on-one. Each mentoring session is 45 minutes. I don't want to spend more than 45 minutes because the human brain can only hang on to so much info at a time. So we'll do a 45-minute session. You'll practice using what you learn over the next few days. And then the following week, you can book another session. And then, you just keep, whenever you need help, there's somebody here to help you. I know a lot of places, and I won't call any names. Once the check clears the bank, well, you don't hear from those guys again. No, we're not like that. We're here every day. We've been here every day since 2005. God willing, we'll be back tomorrow. Okay, so crude oil, we triggered $69. We put in a high at $69.13. So that's $130. That's what the market's made available so far. If it goes all the way to the target, then it'll be $300. The short CTA last night for crude was $67.85. We triggered here and went right to the target. That's $700 per contract traded in that 30-minute candle if you entered at the published entry and exited at the published target. Remember, on a short, the final trade to target is always the weekly zone below. So from 67.85 to actually would be 67.20, be $650 per contract traded. Important prices, important areas are almost always tested. Once an alert triggers, there's a greater probability of it triggering multiple times than not triggering multiple times. So we came down, hit the target, and then we got back above the trigger. The pullback to the VBC held and sent us right back down to the zone. So this $650, what did we say it was? A $600 per contract trade from 20. 650, yeah. So this 650 move, it does it again. See, this was a green candle all the way up. Got you above the trigger, and then it triggered again and took you back down to that target. So that's two back-to-back, with a couple candles in between. Now, not all triggers are created equal. We get back above the trigger here, but right below us is blue and climbing. And you'll remember I said blue and climbing, that represents, potential support. And so this big red candle came right down to touch blue and climbing, and the rest took us right up to where we are right now. Price has gotten back below the trigger. Does that mean it's all over? Does that mean all we get out of this is $130 per contract move? I don't know what's going to happen next. I just know the high probability move is to the zone. I know that once an alert triggers, there's a greater probability of it triggering multiple times than not triggering multiple times. Could price just drop like a rock and come all the way back to the VBC? It's possible. Okay. So again, just because we give you these alerts and show you the windows of opportunity, where we make it clear, where we think is the best spot to get in and where to take profit and how to set your stop and all these things, you still got to learn how to trade. But the good news is you're learning from real people. Not videos, not books. Now, I got nothing against videos and books. In fact, we have thousands upon thousands of videos, and I'm still writing the book. But you can't learn how to swim watching a video or reading a book. You can't learn to fly a plane watching a video or reading a book. You have to roll up your sleeves and get busy, which is why when you become a passport holder, you should start trading in your demo account in your simulator. Follow along with Michael in the morning, no matter how clumsily it might seem. Just do it. Because the more you do it, the less clumsy it'll feel, and it'll start to make sense. And because you're in the demo account, you're not in danger of losing any money. And nobody's watching you, nobody's keeping score. Okay? You just do the best that you can. Ask lots of questions, and over time it all starts to come together. And our methodology, once you learn the methodology, you go, oh my goodness, that's so simple. Why did I make it so hard? Why couldn't I just see the elegant simplicity in the beginning? Well, probably because you have so much negative emotional baggage that you've brought with you from other places and other things that just never really panned out. And chances are those things, whatever they were, somebody's probably making money with those very things, but you just never had anybody spend time with you and explain how to do it. 9 out of 10 new traders fail because they don't have a teacher. I don't mean a teacher in a book or a teacher on a video. I mean a real life teacher who, while he's trading, will take time to answer every question you have. If 9 out of 10 fail, I guess 1 out of 10 must succeed. Find somebody who has found success and ask them, did you have a teacher when you started? 9 times out of 10, they'll say, of course. How else would I learn? Group Trading Room Daily, private mentoring, our methodology, our indicators, our around-the-clock alerts, our concierge alerts, it all starts right here at eminifuturestrading.com. If you have questions, call Valerie at 949-42-EMINI or send an email to support@cfrn.net. Next is gold. The CTA for gold last night was 1736 on the long side, 1726 on the short side. So we tripped over the line right here. This was the open right here. Got a bearish cross. Price came down to the CTA, and the swing low was 24.6. We'll just call it $160 per contract traded. That's what it was. And then price gets back above the zone. We run right up to the CTA, but we get rejected on 2 candles. So we pull back to the BBC and the weekly trading zone. That's support times 2. When price pulls back to the zone, we expect it to hold until proven otherwise. When price pulls back to the BBC, we expect it to hold until proven otherwise. So we consolidated for a bit. Off we go. This trigger on the long side took us up $370 per contract traded. And then we got back below the trigger, and we ran right to the target in one 30-minute candle. From 36 to 48, that's $1,200 per contract traded. Once we hit the target, price pulled back. It was a shallow pullback because the pullback to blue and climbing held. It didn't pull all the way back to the BBC. It held here and has now taken us up to a daily high of 1756.70. The next weekly zone overhead for gold this week is 1776. And we still have 3 more zones above that. So we could see big things out of gold the remainder of the week. So 2-sided action, Money on the short side, money on the long side. Silver is still flat. That was yesterday. And now here's today. No trigger. It's rare to see the markets this flat. But this is the market has handed us. And so we've got to deal with what's in front of us. And when your indicators look like this, you should not even attempt to trade this. Now, while our indicators and strategy do a tremendous job of helping you find high probability, low risk trade opportunities, once you know how to use them, they'll also keep you out of markets that are not suitable for trading. And I gotta tell you, this is not suitable for trading. So there it is. We've covered the S&P, the Dow, the Russell, the NQ, crude, gold, and silver. Brings us back around to the daily chart. Okay, buyers are trying to push us back up to the high. Okay, remember I talked about if we start to move higher, I said as price gets to 43.30, I said this just a few minutes ago, blue and climbing is about to turn into red and falling, and so it may be potential resistance, at least for a minute. And now, that's not because I know some secret or have magic. It's not because I can tell the future and know what's going to happen next. Everything we do is based on logic. And so I simply told you what the next logical move was that I saw. A price up to blue and flat. And when price gets, when the indicator gets directly above price, no matter what color it is, it starts to act as resistance or support in a market that's moving lower. And so I said I would prefer to see us get above this and trade in this area up here. Now, how strong is this resistance? Who's more committed? Buyers could easily come in and just run it up at this point. Or, if they're not that committed, price will drift back down to the zone. We could consolidate at the zone. The BBC will catch up to price at some point. And then from there, we may get an opportunity to trade on the long side. Now, when I talked about this a few minutes ago, I said there is a little 2-point window of opportunity there, but be very, very careful. I think I called it 36 to 38. So that worked out. But it's not something I would put in the alert channel, because in the alert channel we have 8,000. Over the last 158 weeks, we've published 8,026 alerts. Every one of those is a trend trade as defined by this 30-minute chart and the BBC. If I included the counter trend trades, I guess there'd be 16,000 probably, or more. But every alert in the channel is the highest probability, lowest risk opportunity that I can find to share with you. And of the 8,026 trades that have concluded, they're all in the public domain now. You can look at them, touch them, feel them. They're real. The results that you see, that's really what happened. You can look at the alerts and historically go back on your charts and see if we're just funning you or if that's really what happened. It really is what happened. So everything we do is transparent. Michael's in the room taking off trades with everybody watching. The alerts go out before they trigger, not after. We don't believe in the woulda, coulda, shoulda thing. Well, if it had gotten in here and gotten out there, boy, you'd be a big deal. No, that's scandalous. We send the alerts out well ahead of them triggering because we want you to go to your chart, study the market, study the chart, study the alert, see that window of opportunity, and then as it triggers, use everything that you've learned in the live training room to trade that alert. And pretty soon, it takes longer times for different people, but at some point, when I send out an alert, your mind's going to go, oh, yeah, I already saw that. You'll start to say things like, oh, I knew he was going to send that alert out. Why? Because you start to see it yourself. Because we teach you how to see it. I know some organizations, like they have these closely guarded secrets they hold back. Well, no, we just teach you everything we know about trading E-mini futures. We can't promise you that you're going to be a consistently profitable trader. By the way, nobody can. Just like I can teach you how to play baseball. Not that I'm a great baseball player, but I mean, I know the rules, I can teach you. But I can't promise you that you're going to pitch for the Yankees. So we're going to provide you with everything you need to be a consistently profitable trader. The information, the technology, the indicators, the strategy, the mentoring, all of that. But at the end of the day, it's really going to be up to you. Do you have the patience? Do you have the self-discipline? When you first become a member, you'll get a 24/20 blueprint that walks you through creating your business plan and your trading plan. 9 out of 10 traders don't have a teacher. They also don't have a business plan or a trading plan. Imagine trying to open any kind of business without a business plan or an operations manual. That's what the trading plan is. It's really the operations manual. But yet traders all around the world try and do it every day. You will either become the 9 out of 10 or the 1 out of 10. I wish it were in my power to promise you that if you become a passport holder, you will become the 1 out of 10, but I can't. I can tell you that our numbers inside the walls of CFRN, we don't see 9 out of 10 fail. Why? Because we spend time with our people. We teach our people. We coach our people. We mentor our people. We pray with and for our people. And it's not just me and Michael and Valerie and Bert. We got a whole army of traders. If you're on the trial and you haven't hooked into the discussion group yet, in Telegram, that should be the very next thing you do. Go to telegram.org, download the free software, put it on your phone, put it on your tablet, put it on your PC, put it on your Mac. Get involved in the discussion, okay? And then contact Valerie for the links that you need to get invited to the different channels. We got about 8 or 9 different channels, I think. But if you're on a trial, you'll just have access to a couple of them. But the discussion group that you'll have access to, there's thousands of posts in there. Charts and questions and answers and teachings and trainings. And you could spend a month. You could go on vacation for a month and lay on the beach and do nothing but read through the discussion group, follow all the links, watch all the videos. There's that much content there. But that's not going to make you a trader. You're going to actually have to get in the water. That's how you learn to swim. Trading is how you learn how to trade. Just make sure you do it in your swim account until you become consistently profitable. All right. That takes us to our good word for the day. Yesterday we talked about doing the right thing by others. Today we'll talk about never betraying a confidence. Boy, that's a real hot potato. How many times have you told somebody, hey, I'm going to tell you something, but you got to promise you won't tell anybody? Oh, I won't. Now, just 10 minutes ago, the person that told you this thing, whatever it is, solicited that same promise out of you, and you promised you'd never tell another living soul, and now here you are, betraying their confidence. Because you actually believe that even though you violated it, you believe the person that you're whispering in their ear, you actually believe that they're not going to tell somebody else. when you couldn't resist the urge yourself. There's something in us. We want to be the town crier. We want to be the one with the juicy story. That's not biblical. Proverbs 11:13. A gossip betrays a confidence, but a trustworthy person keeps a secret. Betrayal is worse than gossip. A gossip may not necessarily harbor ill will toward his or her victim, but a betrayer knowingly divulges information in a breach of confidence. They commit relational treason by violating the trust someone has placed in them. Judas was in a position to betray Jesus with very little effort because he was familiar with his comings and goings. In John 18:12 we read, Judas, who betrayed him, knew the place because Jesus had often met there with his disciples. Judas used his inside knowledge of Jesus' tendencies to hurt him. Then later his behavior engendered such self-loathing he committed suicide. Acts of betrayal eat away at your self-esteem and your sense of dignity. So, have you ever breached a confidence? Don't bother shaking your head no, because we all have. Okay? We've all sinned. We've all breached some confidence. It's just the human condition. So, let's move on to a question that maybe you can think about. Why did you do it? What was the reward? Did you gain some inside advantage? What were you envious or resentful of at the time? Was there an unresolved conflict between you and the other person? Have you repented of what you did? Now, the other side of that coin is, has someone betrayed your confidence? If so, were you reaping what you had sown? What valuable lesson did you learn from that? Have you freed the offender in your heart and no longer desire retribution? If not, you're still bound to them and they're controlling your life. So just drop it. You're not hurting them, you're only hurting yourself. Remind yourself that all things work together for good to those who love God. Romans 8:28. Strive to become a trustworthy person others can depend on to guard their secrets. And if you're blessed to have a trustworthy friend yourself, then thank God for putting them in your life. And that's our good word for the day. Again, if you're ready to become a part of the family, just go to eminifuturestrading.com. Once you get there, if you have any questions, it's pretty simple, point and click to become a passport holder. It's a lifetime membership, everything for life. If you have questions, though, call Valerie, 949-42-EMINI, or send an email to support@cfrn.net. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with His mercy and with His grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading Emini futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.